Okay. First, I want to give all praise, honor, esteem to Abba Yahuah, for He alone is worthy of all praises. And Father, you're having me talk about what I take. Now, when all of this was starting, He was showing me about herbs like moringa, nani, beetroot, hibiscus, fenugreek, and I would put that into these powders into water and like some sort of flavoring and drink it down, and it really helped with my SIBO, with pulling things out of me. And then he was showing me to start doing I'm drawing a blank, Father. I bind and cast down all principalities, powers in Yahushua. I bind confusion and cast you out in Yahushua. Lymphatic drainage. And there's 12 points that I do. And you can first start off with like 20 each, and then 30 each, and then 40 each. You know, I'm up to 70 each. And let me tell you, it's really good. But before I do that, or after I do that, I drink like almost half of one of these. And this, instead of that stuff on those lymphatic drainage supplements, you know, why waste all your money when it's all your Ayurvedic seeds like cumin, fennel, cardamom, coriander, ginger, parsley, and there's one more. I can't remember. But I put them all together and I drink it warm. And what it does after I do my lymphatic drainage, like 20 minutes to a half hour, all the pee is coming out of me. And then shortly after the pee, then you know what I'm talking about. All that lymph, because we're not fat. Our lymphatic system is so overworked that we haven't moved and are sluggish, and we have to open up those pathways. And then there's simple exercises that you can do, like I like to do the Ferris wheel. Like I move my arms, like 40 50 times this way and 50 times backwards, and squats. And then there's ones where you can lift your heads up there, like 10 of those, no, like 20 of these and 20 of these. And there's all these different, like swinging ones, things to move the lymph. Because you got to start moving the lymph. That's why you see all these people and they're so bloated and constipated, and their midsection is so big. It's because that's all, you know, that's all stuff in your system. And you got to get that out. That's where all disease comes from. All the pork, the dairy, the shellfish. Pork. Even when I found out through this one guy, even when it's in the freezer, it's disintegrating. It's the parasites are encased in a a pustulate, like It's disgusting. And then you're eating that, thinking that it's okay because Pastor Porkchop said you can have it, that you're free to do whatever you want. No. You know, these three-ring circuses lie to you on purpose because they're all of the brethren. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say it. And so, and they get paid to not talk about the end times, to not talk to you about the revelation, the meat of the word, like I did in my last video. That was a little bit of the meat. Wasn't that delicious? Like, that was like, you prepare the table before you in the presence of your enemies. That was a little, and that was just a little appetizer. So I'm gonna come back and do more of that when I get more teachings. And I just love, you know, Father, I'm just so grateful that you've given me this time to wake up so I can be clear-headed and focused and not be stammering and have more of your strength and power, as it is written in Psalm 68 verse 35. You know, I used to like not get jealous but envious that people, like, they've got the luxury of getting bored. I had to fight ever since that motorcycle accident. When I would come up out of sleeping, now what do I have to do? You know, and it was always, everything was hard for me, and I had to deal with anger issues, and through finding the scriptures, you know, that was another thing. When I first started hearing voices and all that, I was watching a Jimmy Swaggart old video of him doing his televangelist, like over, like when he went over to the whole world to preach the gospel back then. And I remember him standing on the platform and him with the scriptures open. He's walking back and forth, and I saw fire coming off of it. I was like, am I seeing right? And I'm calling my mom, because my mom was a big Jimmy Swaggart fan back then. I said, Mom, do you see his Bible? Do you see? There's fire coming off of it. She goes, Kristen, there's no fire. What do you... My family never knew what to do with me. I was always the black sheep, you know. What now, Kristen? But, so back to these voices. He's going to give them over to me, and I'm going to eliminate them, put them under the ban. For it is written. And thank you for waking me up. Thank you for this time of sharing with people, that so I can get this off of my chest and feel more comfortable on camera, speaking the truth, not with a false humility. So, just truth. I mean, just like how my father spoke out of my tongues, you know. Matter of fact, you know, and that's how I want to be. All praise, honor to Abba Yahuah.